Hello, guys, and welcome back to Joe's Ventures. And to carry on with this little series we got going, because we've just done the DLC, the story DLC, now we're going to be doing the free update speculation. So this is for 2023. Got a little bit of an update, which I'm quite excited to go through. So updates for Jurassic World Evolution 2, so free updates speculation 2023, and there will be spoilers for Dominion and things like that, of course. But I would say that's less than the first time round. But there's some updates and stuff that I'm really excited to go through. So let's have a look. So, past update content. We can go through pretty much all of the updates and talk about what came with them. So the first update when the game came around and it was the early Cretaceous pack. We had the building sets for DFW and JP come in, and then we had the flattened sandbox levels, which was actually really useful. The campaign sandbox levels of equipment in there, rock perches as well, and other perches came in, and then the balance changes. And then we had next up, we had the Camp Cretaceous dinosaur pack. We had the sandbox changes. We had all sorts of new and very cool decorations. We had placeable trees, which is something people had been asking for a while. We also had the first person view come in, another thing everyone's been asking for forever. And then the species viewer, along with some quality of life improvements. And then we had free update 3, which came with Chaos Theory maps in challenge mode. That's very interesting as well. That came into challenge mode. Dinosaur wrangling, that worked really well with the DLC, with the Bison DLC. That I thought that was really, really cool. Really cool game mode. And especially the Chaos Theory mode, I thought that was cool. The Park Tour and Transport update, that was basically changed so that you could allow... it allowed you to kind of connect like different. You could connect like your transports, so such as your cars and vehicles, instead of placing paths. So you can make almost like a safari park type thing going on, which was really, really cool. And there was also other various quality of life improvements. Then as we keep going, next one, free update 4, I believe that was a late Cretaceous. We had the Lagoon customization and decoration one. That was one everyone had been asking for because the lagoons were so barren. I think that was one of the best updates they've ever done. Behavior changes, there was some behavior changes as well. I think there was some sauropods and things like that. Building decorations also came out as well. There's a bunch of building decorations. For the kind of viewing mode, there was post cards and stamps, which was really cool. Some changes to sandbox settings, as often happens, and various quality of life improvements as well. Then the next update, free update 5, which was, I believe, Malta DLC. We had the new challenge levels, which was really cool. You also had the tiny dinosaurs, so there were lots of changes to the tiny dinosaurs, like they would avoid certain things, like they'd avoid water and things like that. Some really cool new changes to behavior, some changes to the UI and things like that. New body colors and variants for patterns and variants, so that was really cool. I believe that was like for the Camp Cretaceous, like Pierce, the Kentrosaurus, and I believe also Dreadnoughtus and the Iguanodon and things like that, which came with the DLC. That was really, really cool. So it gave those variants more patterns and things like that, which was really cool. And then the various quality of life improvements after that. Next up, this was with the Feathered Dinosaur Pack. This was probably the most expensive one until the latest one, which was really cool. We had the remote viewing galleries. So what happened was we got the we got the one from the Jurassic World movies. He had the kind of the one with the log that was cool, and then he had the big round one. You also had the cinematic camera mode, so that allowed you to make very cinematic and cool views around your park. Slow mode, that was one I'd been asking for ages. We finally got slow mode, which allowed you to slow you down your game and take better screenshots. Also had zipline variants. So they just took the zipline, which was a free update in November, and just gave it some more variations to fit with the different themes. Also, square maps came along and created much bigger maps. You can now get like huge maps now. Mixed foliage was another thing that came, so you can mix your foliage. They were placeable foliage, but you get different foliage from different maps on the same game, which is really, really good. And other various quality of life improvements. And then we have, next up, our latest one in June, we had the 30th anniversary. Not much came to this, but we had the 30 new JP themed items. We had like the Alamosaurus and T-Rex skeleton, we had the big pile of poop, we had the archway and everything. Basically a lot of JP themed stuff, which was really, really awesome and really completed that as well. We also had some minor bug fixes. And then we had the latest one, Free Update 7, with the coolest thing I think's come into any of the updates, the marine social animations. So pretty much all of the marine animals except the mosasaurs, including the ones in the DLC, they got a social animation. It was so cool. Also custom challenge mode, which I think everyone was really keen on because a lot of people that do like challenge, you can make your own and kind of send them to people, which was really cool. The Lagoon viewing dome's also really cool, gives you a new perspective in the lagoon. That's something everyone had been asking for a while. Also, you can favorite dinosaur skins and your favorite dinosaurs within your park. And that's really cool because it's really helpful when you want to find particular dinosaurs or want to do them doing behaviors and things like that. And then if you have any particular skins that you like, instead of randomizing through all of them, you get to randomize the ones that you like, which is really, really cool. Also, the placeable amphitheater. So that was one everyone had been asking for a while. So be able to place the amphitheater in different parts around your park and different parks as well, which is really, really cool. We also had dinosaur guest hostility. So in sandbox mode, basically you could go hang out with your dinosaurs, and then they had other sandbox modes and things like that, and also other various quality of life improvements. So that's pretty much been the roadmap so far. So next up, this is what we know typically of kind of the DLC rollout, things like that. So there's typically 4 packs a year, with 2 smaller packs, dinosaur packs, and 2 larger story packs, spaced out every 3 months or so, though the marine one was quite a big wait. Typically there comes a free update with each. So JWE2 came out in late 2021, with JWD, or Jurassic World Dominion, coming out in mid-22, and there was 3 packs together, already out, and support confirmed for the next 12 months. So that means 2 more dinosaur packs and 2 more story DLCs. That kind of didn't work out because we had this marine pack, so we'll see how it goes, but that matches. And so by the end of the year, it would be matching that 18 to 20 month support cycle of J1, unless they decide to do the 3 years of support like Planet Coaster or Planet Zoo, which I consider unlikely. Though it could be more possible now, I'm thinking, because of there's going to be too much Jurassic Park content coming in the future. So to kind of keep that hype up, they might want to extend some DLCs for this game. Potential smaller DLCs and free editions, such as the Raptor Squad pack or the Nasutoceratops and JWE1, could be considered. So with this one, there was, of course, the Raptor Squad pack and other small packs and free updates. We got the zip lines as part of the free update, the anniversary update last year. So that's another thing as well. It could be added when other JP media comes out. For example, a good example is the Tarbosaurus from CC's Hidden Adventure. So that's a good one. But those are potentially too hard to predict. And there are some things I've kind of moved from this one originally that I moved onto the DLC one because they fit into the story better. But really, they could all be added in different things, and it doesn't really matter too much. But next up, this is the big things I want to see for like sandbox settings and things like that. We can start off with placing special buildings, so like the Masrani building or the Biocene Research Facility. Originally, the amphitheater, the San Diego amphitheater, was put on here, but that was already added to the game now. So that's what people want, to be able to place those special buildings in any park you like. Also, what I'd like to see is grid placement, because I know it can be very finicky to kind of place them in line with each other, and a lot of people like a grid placement. Could be kind of similar to Planet Zoo. Also, instant hatching. We know we have the 10%, but I want instant hatching. I think it's just kind of the slowest thing to do, even like a 1%. So it just goes blip, blip, and you could basically have instant hatching. Species viewer when selecting species. This one might be a little bit of a harder one to do, like technically, or like in terms of like coding and everything that goes with gaming. But a species viewer that you can actually directly compare the skins instead of having to remember them would be really, really cool, instead of having to go out to the species viewer. Also, add more buildings to the Hyperloop, which they expand Hyperloop to other themes. I think it'd be really cool to have that Hyperloop kind of working with like all sorts of buildings. I know it's kind of been expanded to fit with the like remote viewing galleries and things like that, but I would really like to see them kind of be able. You should pretty much be able to make a whole park that everything is underground. I think that'd be really, really cool. So you could have everything underground, have these like little fenced off areas, so you could have like a Site B or kind of safari park mode going on. I think that'd be really cool. Also, more body variants, skins. So it'd be really cool to have JP body variants that we used to have in the first game. We had all sorts of different color variations for the body variants as well. So that would be really cool to come into this game. Other cosmetics, like the 2022 Allosaurus, would be quite cool to get that. Also, the Dimorphodon would be also quite cool as well. That would be cool to get different skin and pattern variants as well, in the same vein of like the Camp Cretaceous ones and the Dreadnoughtus and the Giganotosaurus and things like that, for example, which would be quite cool. Extra terrain brushes would be really cool. I think even in other maps you could pretty much just pick from each one. So you could have the kind of, let's say you have the bison forest with the sand from Arizona map, for example. I think that'd be quite cool. Really nice to have that variation and mix. And to round out area-specific buildings and decorations, so the monorail could probably change to fit a little bit more with the other themes. The multi-amenity designs could fit a little bit better, or just kind of round out everything to make it fit kind of in the same. Everything has its own theme, and you can pretty much use only that theme. I think they'd round it out a little more. I think it'd be quite cool. But anyway, I think another cool thing would be decorations. So bins, statues, benches, paths. So the possibility could be almost endless. So you could put bins, benches, statues as well. So you can see that really nice one there of John Hammond holding the dinosaur with the kid petting it, something like that. That would be really, really cool in decorations. Just little things you could place around your park. You could really just be endless. You could do like each pack, you could 40 decorations. I think that would be really cool. So possibilities are almost endless, so they could be added in groups over many different updates. Also, new fences would be cool. I know we typically only have the JP tile fences and Jurassic World fences, but it's really nice to have some fences that you see in like more modern zoos as well, like this mesh fence. Or you could have, there's a wide variety of fences, like an elephant fence would be cool, just to add a little bit more variety into our games instead of just having the big fences as well. And other cool things would be placeable vehicles. So you can see there's a variety of Jurassic Park vehicles there with some really cool JP fans posing with them. Really cool to have like broken and normal placeable ones, because I know a lot of people like to put placeable Jeeps, but they just like park the Jeeps in the game there. So having them as just decorations, I think, would make everyone quite happy. So yeah, really, really cool. And attractions. So I kind of shrunk this segment down a bit because of the new DLC I kind of created, the hybrid DLC. I took some of the things from the decorations here that were Jurassic World themed to put it in that. But we can see we've got some really cool attractions. You could use the golf course, so that could be a really nice golf course that people could use. Just a big green thing with some plants on a map, like a mini golf course. Just place it on your map. I think that'd be cool. Botanical gardens, I think, would be cool, and you can have it with all sorts of like prehistoric plants. The one I'll mention this again because I mentioned it last time. This is actually based off a local, well, kind of local. It's 3 hours away from me. Golf course there, and it's really, really cool because they have lots of animals on it as well. They have deer and stuff. They also have a predator-proof fence, so they can have kiwis and takahe and rare New Zealand birds on the property, which I think is really, really cool. And that kind of golf course is cool. But the botanical gardens is awesome. You could have all sorts of different plants and things like that. Golf course, botanical gardens, the Cretaceous/jungle cruise. That could be like a JP Jurassic World kind of different themes for different ones. And it would just be pretty much you can have your waterway, and then you can have like a tour with the paddles, the canoes and the kayaks going through, and you can have a look at your wonderful dinosaurs like that. I'm not sure how it works in the game. I don't know. Everyone's been asking it for ages, but it is what it is. Really cool one as well, the gondola. I think it'd be nice to have a different amount of variation, like allow the gondola to kind of, because it's not quite as, I would say, space intensive as the because the monorail has just like big concrete pillars going through. This wouldn't need to be so extensive, so you could have like a less intrusive version of transport to get around your park, along with also the monorail and the kind of trucks and things like that, which would be cool. Another cool thing would be the roller coaster, and there's already kind of like a Jurassic Park and Jurassic World style to that one. As you can see, the Hidden Adventure had a roller coaster, and I know everyone kind of likes that design, especially with like the blue for the kind of, I don't know what the cars that you put them in. I'm not sure the term. I'm not really into roller coasters, but yeah, that would be really cool. So you can already have it like a Jurassic Park one, Jurassic World theme with the Hidden Adventure one, and then you also have the Jurassic Park game one, which has this really, really cool, like the bone shaker. It has the big T-Rex, and you go through its rib cage and mouth and everything. That would be a really cool design. So I think it'd be really cool to interpret, like, because it's already there, and I know both people like them both, so it'd be cool to have both of them in the game as well. And another one, this is a holdover, of course, from JPOG. We have the balloon tour. Everyone knows and loves the balloon tour, so really, really cool. So, next up, we've got the aquatic update. So, I know the aquatics got some love. They originally have the beach fallout area, which came with the prehistoric marine species. And then we also had some other things come out with as well, like the marine social animations, but we'll get into that. So, I think what really cool is we can have like a JP version of the viewing dome, and it very much looks like the Jurassic Park the Game one, which I think looks really really cool. I'd love to see like a Jurassic Park the Game one kind of put in there. That'd be awesome. I would say one thing I'd really like to expand is the feeders because it'd be awesome to have like the squid, the shark, and the shellfish. Shellfish would be really cool for animals that are more duraphagous. I think the Archelon could use it potentially. Maybe even if we get like Pacodas or something like that. Those really early weird Jurassic animals or Honodas or something like that. I think that would be really, really cool with the big squat teeth, or even Globidens would be another good example. The feeders, we could have squid. As you can see, you've got this picture here of a Humboldt or a jumbo squid. They get about 2 meters long, so that would be perfect. It's like in between the tuna and the shark in size. That would be perfect for some of the larger animals to eat, like Leopleurodon, Chronosaurus, Dunk, Shoddysaurus, and the Mosasaurs would be a great example of things that should probably eat that. Even Nothosaurus potentially, because that seems to hunt pretty big things, especially like the Ichthyosaurus. I think that would be really cool. Give us something a little bit bigger, because and same with the shark as well. I think the shark would be really awesome as a feeder that's out in the water, not just hanging off. I think that'd be really good because a lot of the larger animals, they look really weird feeding on just a really small tuna. It'd be nice to give them something a little bit bigger to eat. So I think the shark, maybe just release 1 or 2 sharks each time the feeder opens, and then the animals can go and eat that. So I think they like Shonisaurus would probably eat the shark. The Mosasaurs, both Tylosaurus and Mosasaurus. The Leopleurodon and the Pliosaurus would be great animals. Even the Dunk would be a great animal to eat that. Another cool thing as well would be tunnel viewing. Now, we kind of got this with the viewing dome, but I'd really like to see being able to put your own tunnels at the bottom. So that's a very common thing that we see in zoos these days. In fact, actually, a local aquarium that is in New Zealand actually pioneered this technique where they had like the cylinder that you walk through, and there's almost like a little like motorized trackway that you go through and kind of look through. I think it would be really cool to put that in the game, and you could have like a little motorized thing as you go down, and then you can see people walking around and looking at the animals. I think that'd be really, really cool. Another cool thing as well is kelp. I know we got all those decorations, so it'd be really cool to get these decorations as like a kelp. I think it'd be cool to have the long kelp in the grass. Instead of maybe a brush, maybe just put as a place ball that the animal can interact with. Just to give a little bit more variation as well. Another thing that would also be really cool is being able to change the watercolor. You can only do this in Planet Zoo, so I think it'd be really cool to have like different colors. You could have something that's a little bit more bright, like a reef, something more oceanic or something, and maybe even water clearness, so you can make the water really clear so you can see your animals, things like that. I think that would be quite cool. I'd be a big fan of that idea. So other marine reptile improvements I've mentioned there. We already got the social animations for kind of most of the animals except the mosasaurs, but the mosasaurs I think deserve one. I think a really good inspiration for that as well would be the fossils, because we know that Tylosaurus, which is already in the game, they had a rostrum that didn't have a lot of teeth. So they had their teeth and they had an extra bit on the end, on the rostrum. That potentially could have been for like social signaling, things like that, potentially ramming. So it'd be kind of cute to have an animation maybe of like they ram into each other and maybe like bite face each other a little bit. Maybe not something so serious, but that's a kind of a social interaction I can believe and kind of fit within the personality they want to create for the mosasaur. So I think that'd be really, really cool. I'd also really, really love to see more idle animations, so things like breaching or jumping out the water. You can see that with the mosasaur here from Prehistoric Planet. Most of these kind of improvements come from Prehistoric Planet because they did such a great job. So kind of the breaching, so they jump out of the water, hit down. For a great example with Chronosaurus, because they have the big front flippers like humpback whales. Idle animation, they could come up and then slap the water as well. One cool thing as well is something that a lot of whales and penguins do. It's called porpoising. So they kind of jump out in the water like that. So they just go on the top of the water. I think that would look really, really cool if you had a herd of ichthyosaurs or a pod of ichthyosaurs coming through and doing that in your lagoons. I think that'd be really, really awesome. I would love to see that. That would be such a cool like herding animation as well for the ichthyosaurus. And also rubbing on rocks, like the spa treatment that our mosasaurs getting from Prehistoric Planet. And other cool ones would be potentially this is like an all yesterday's one, but it managed to make it into Prehistoric Planet with Turangisaurus kind of sticking its head out of the water and its neck as well, kind of sticking it up and then folding it down. So that would be some really cool animations. I think they would work well for like the elasmosaurs. So having just some different idle animations for different animals, just things to do as well. And when they all should do, I would love to see them breathe. Like I'd love them to come up to make an effort to breathe, and then you get a big spout like you do with a whale, because it's kind of the character of a whale. Because you like seeing the big spout. It's like big breath, and you're like, wow. And I think that'd be really cool to do that for the marine reptiles as well. I think that'd be quite cute. And one thing is that they should probably be able to attack the drone. I know a lot of people think that would be cool to have them attack the drone. Because they're big animals and they basically have no danger to them really unless you place something in there. But yeah, I think that'd be quite cool. Okay, so next up we got feeders. So I'd really love to see the carnivore feeders expanded, because we do have of course, paleobotany, which is for a lot of the herbivorous dinosaurs, but we don't really have the same equivalent for the carnivores. We just have like the fish, dead meat, and the live feeder pretty much. I think that'd be really cool to expand that. You can have animals different sizes, even different things. You could have cows and chickens and deer and rabbits. I think that'd be a great example. Chicken and rabbits would be really, really good for like smaller animals, and smaller animals can have different preferences of that. And then you can have deer and cows. I think that'd be quite good. So you can have one that's really, really good but really fatty. One's more lean. Like have different preferences for different animals. So it's very much like the, of course, paleobotany, because you have animals that will prefer different things. Some animals, like you say, T-Rex will prefer cows, and maybe Giganotosaurus will prefer deer. For example, like Moros intrepidus will prefer rabbits, while what's another small dinosaur? Oviraptor. We'll just go Oviraptor because it's an omnivore. Prefers chicken, for example. So I think having different preferences like that would really be cool to add into your parks as well. I think that'd be awesome. And plus we get some cute models, the rabbits and the things like that. And we get them all eaten by dinosaurs, which we all know love seeing the cool animations. One thing I would like to see next as well is herbivore feeders, because with the paleo feeders originally, they were all based in the feeder because they could only eat from the feeders. But because of now that they're part of the plants, you have to decorate your exhibits in a certain way to make them to fit your dinosaurs' needs, which I kind of don't like. So I like the idea of bringing back the feeders, so you could basically like decouple that from their enclosure needs. So you can have your paleobot needs and be able to do that well, but be able to design your enclosure however you like. I think that'd be quite cool as well. And then you'd also have herbivorous pterosaurs. So Tapijara is believed to be more of a fruit eater or herbivore rather than a fish eater. And plus you'd add some more dietary range to the pterosaurs as well and make them a little bit more distinct. And with the feathered dinosaur pack, we had the we had the insectivore feeders. That was for the JWE2, who eats all the moths and things. And I think that was a really cool addition as well. Nice little gameplay thing. But I think it could be greatly expanded to other animals. So a great animal that could be expanded to, that includes the Pterosaur dimorphodon, which is believed to be an insect feeder as well. Other dinosaurs that could be included too includes the ornithomimids, which are believed to be more omnivore, so they definitely eat insects. Consignatus, definitely around that size. And other small dinosaurs like Moros intrepidus potentially. Oviraptor, it'd be really cool to have them potentially feeding on the insect feeder. I think that'd be really, really cool. And just add a little bit more variety to everything. I like variety. Variety is the spice of life, of course. So yeah, really, really cool. And then we have our dinosaur improvements. So this list has kind of dwindled a little bit, but that's good. One thing I'd really love to see is sauropod and hadrosaur defense animations, because sauropods are basically the biggest animals on land, so they would be easily able to defend themselves. So you could be able to have them swipe their tail or rear up on their back legs, as we kind of see with the JP1. I'm also surprised they didn't have that animation in Jurassic Park yet. You would think that they would have that. In fact, someone modded it in for, and Master Dude modded it in for the Amphicelius that he made, but they haven't done it for the Brachiosaurus yet, and I don't know why. They should. It would be a great idle animation for it. So having the sauropod and hadrosaur defense animation, because they've both got big tails, they both can stomp, they both can kick. I think it'd be really, really cool to have that for different DLCs, not as part of a free update, and just be able to make them seem not like pushovers, because they're such huge animals. They wouldn't be just pushovers for carnivores. I like to see them defend themselves, and plus some cool sauropod and hadrosaur defense animations with the kicking and the hitting of the tail and things like that. I think it would be really awesome. One thing I'd like as well is mixed species herding and herding improvements. I know a lot of people like your Sight Beast type maps and things like that, and in a lot of the movies you can see lots of huge mixed herds, especially like Jurassic Park 3. You have, as you can see, you've got the Stegosaurus, the Triceratops, the Parasaurolophus, and the Brachiosaurus, all in one big herd. So I'd really love to see mixed species herding, and you can actually have mixed species herding in Planet Zoo as well. I think that'd be quite cool. Some other herding improvements I think would be cool, maybe just making herds bigger, things like that. I think that would be really, really cool to add some variation and things like that, and really make kind of your Site B pop, because I know everyone loves Site B, and lots of people making Site Bs, quote unquote, so it'd be cool to have that in the game. So I'd love to also to see more idle and species specific group animations, or group animations, so you can have the sauropods rearing up. So I think it'd be really cool to have, like, you have the Brachiosaurus right there, the iconic moment from Jurassic Park. I can't believe they haven't added it yet to the Brachiosaurus, because that would be such an iconic thing to add. But also you could add it to some of the Diplodocids and things like that as well. So then Ankylosaur, not Stegosaurs, sauropods rearing up and doing some other animations, because they all do the same social animation. It would be cool to have a little bit of variation there. But also one that's really, really cool, we have some scientific evidence of, is Ankylosaur tail whacking. We know that they actually, from Zool, which is a species of Ankylosaur, we have evidence that they kind of stood to each other like that. If you look at the bottom here, this was by Henry Sharpe, beautiful paleo art by a great paleo artist, that they would kind of hit each other. It was very much like a social display. So probably like the same way a deer will fight for with their antlers for females, potentially like that, or some potential social recognition. So it's cool behavior that we actually know from the fossil record, and I think it'd be really cool to have something like that in the game as well. I think that'd be quite cool. And some other like more interesting displays, things like that. Go back, and some animals that have like similar social animations, maybe go back and give them some different displays and things like that. I think that'd be quite cool. One thing as well that'd also be quite cool is dung. You could have different cosmetic types. We have the big pile of dung from the first movie that came with the 30th anniversary kind of free update. But I think it'd be cool to have different ones around, and they maybe produce poop. I think it'd be cool to have that as like a cosmetic thing. Just so dinosaurs feel alive and things like that. I think that'd be quite cool. And it'd be purely cosmetic. They would just like, it'd have a poop and then disappear. I think that'd be quite cool. Also, pterosaur improvements. I know a lot of people would like these. I think it'd be really cool to have, because they basically only fly and perch at the moment and eat. So I think it'd be cool to have pterosaurs actually like walking around, especially things like Quetzalcoatlus, which is quite well known for being a kind of terrestrial stalk kind of predator. So kind of like walking around and picking things, especially, and then you have animals like Hatzegopteryx later, be able to walk around and kind of hunt for prey and things like that. I think that'd be really, really cool. And then you could have different animals with different chances. So a lot of maybe like Tapijara, Dungigiparus would be like a little bit more terrestrial than a lot of other species, like maybe say the very ocean-going ones like Pteranodon, but things like Dunopterus and Tapijara, along with Quetzalcoatlus, would be quite terrestrial, like foraging for fruits and hard-shelled things, and also for Quetz's case, potentially scavenging and eating small prey. It'd be more fitting for the ecology to be walking around all the time. And I believe that would also be really, really cool, as you can kind of see there as they're walking around. Then you have the social animations. Prehistoric Planet is another great farm for these. As you can see, this is the Barbadactylus that's kind of like moving up the head, they're doing the display thing. You can see this is the bit from the first episode of season 2, where they come up and do the display. They kind of shake their heads to each other and then nuzzle on each other. I think that'd be really cool as a social animation. Really fit like Quetz as well, but could really just do different ones for different animals. I think it'd be quite cool. And then you also have the idle animation. So it'd be really cool to have some more idle animation instead of just sitting there preening. So you could have your Quetz kind of come up, stand on its back legs, and kind of bask in the sun, or potentially like move around like that. I think that would be quite cool. Just some more individual animations to kind of just give them a little bit more life, in the same vein of what's been coming along for the lagoon animals last update. I think that'd be quite cool. And then for the same vein, you also have them attack the drone, because we need a little bit of sense of danger, don't we? I know they can attack the helicopters and stuff, but why can't they attack the drones? Okay. So in terms of feathers, I think they'd be really cool, because we know there's lots of dinosaurs that are coming into the game that have feathers and all that. I think it'd be really cool to put the feather gene in the game. Since we have feathers already in the game now, we have the feathered dinosaur pack, we had the feathered dinosaurs from Malta and the bison pack. I think it'd be really cool to have kind of an animal that has feathers, or evidence of picking feathers in like the fossil records, such as the ornithomimids, pretty much the pterosaurs, the raptors, maybe even tyrannosaurs, things like that. A lot of those animals that have evidence of picking fibers, they get their own feather gene to add another variant, and basically every dinosaur has a feathered cosmetic. I know that there's been kind of mods. Hawkeye has kind of done a mod to cover that and have realistic feathered versions, but I think it would be cool that they got that officially, because they put all that work into a feather mechanic. Why not take advantage of that? I think that'd be quite cool. But yeah, really cool one. You can see also put accurate colors as well. We know from specimens of like Tapijara, Navigans, and things like that. We have some specimens of Tupangdactylus and things like that. We know their colors. We know they kind of had a dark color and black and reds to them, which is really cool. We also have, they don't necessarily need to be accurate feathers. We could have Jurassic Park style with feathers, as you can see here. We could have the JP31 styled raptor and the Jurassic Park styled raptor with feathers. This is beautiful artwork done by Fred. I think that really shows off well. See, it's the JP style, but it's definitely got feathers. So I think you could really play around a lot with this, and it'd be cool as a free update because people love feathers, and I think would be great to also fit maybe even into a pack or something like that. So just a bunch of different variations, things like that would be quite cool. But last and certainly not least, we have got breeding. So breeding, I'm going to make the case for breeding, because breeding, or at least breeding, quote unquote, breeding has been a very important part on pretty much all the Jurassic Park movies. So I think it's a mechanic or kind of something worth acknowledging within the game, because the first movie is all about the dinosaurs being able to breed, The second one had all sorts of baby dinosaurs in it, like the baby Stegosaurus and the baby T-Rex, and that was kind of the thing that they were surviving on Isla Nublar. Jurassic Park 3 kind of had that as well. They had dinosaurs living on Isla Sorna as well. Jurassic World, they had baby dinosaurs in the petting zoo. Fallen Kingdom, there was, I believe, some baby dinosaurs as well. It was believed that they'd be breeding as well, not just cloning. And Jurassic World Dominion, they're supposed to be living out in the wild and breeding and things like that. So it's a very important part of the franchise, so I think it should be added in some shape or form. And how I think it should be added would be cosmetic variants that look like juveniles. So basically, you would be able to pick from, you could just pick juvenile Triceratops, juvenile Stegosaurus, juvenile Brachiosaurus, juvenile Velociraptor, juvenile Tyrannosaurus. So it'd be a cosmetic variant that basically just like a little version, maybe have its own animations, things like that. I think it would be really, really cool to add, and they look like juveniles. But I think that also opened the door for some male to female variation too, because we do have some male-female variation. For example, we have the male and female Ceratops. That would be really, really cool to have in the game as well, because we only actually have the female. It'd be nice to get the male as well. I think it'd be quite cool. And then we also have the Gentle Giant Petting Zoo. That could be a mechanic that you could be introduced. Maybe they could all be parts very similar. I'm thinking kind of similar to the original aviary. You could potentially have it as an isolated little thing, and maybe the baby dinosaurs have their own little like area to kind of live in. Or maybe even like the lagoons, you can place down your petting zoo or your Gentle Giant Petting Zoo and have your baby dinosaurs, and you hang around with them. Or maybe even you could just introduce them as a cosmetic with your dinosaurs. But I'm not saying full-on breeding, because I imagine it's a lot of effort, and I don't really want to manage that. I don't think the game has the infrastructure to manage breeding yet. But I think it'd be quite cool to be able to have baby cosmetics that don't grow up, so you can still have your baby dinosaurs within your park, because you have little baby Blue and Dominion and things like that, little Alpha. I think that'd be quite cool to be able to have the babies in there, because they are such an important part of the franchise. But yeah, I think this is a great place to end the video. So thank you for watching. So a lot of the content that I add on this video is based on my own ideas, and then looking what the community wants. So if there's something that you want to see in either of these videos, or you want to see, leave a comment, because I like to hear what you think, and some ideas are just worth sharing, who knows. My kind of beach idea got taken into the last pack, which I was quite excited about, so it'd be really cool to, any idea, they might think, oh, I like that idea, so they incorporate it, which would be quite cool. And of course, I hope you guys like and subscribe. So I really, really, really hope you guys have enjoyed this video. I hope you guys like and subscribe. Always remember to get the little bell icon to get notified of learning anything. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you guys like and subscribe, and bye-bye.